Let's call the February 3rd meeting to order. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, do a roll call.
Mr. Cullen?
Here.
Ms. Curran? Here. Mr. D'Angelo?
Here.
Ms. Paglione?
Here.
Mr. Poliafico?
Here.
Mr. Parolo?
Mr. Parolo is excused. He was in the hospital. He had surgery.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Poplawski?
Mr. Poplawski is also excused.
And Mr. Chicoletti?
Here. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with said addendums?
I motion.
Mr. D'Angelo? Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Dr. Schaefer?
Yes, I'd like to thank our maintenance and custodial staff for the outstanding job they did this week with the snow removal. The schools and all, they were ready to open on Monday morning. The reason I did the 2-hour delay is I was just leery of melting and refreezing, especially since we're a walking district. But otherwise, I mean, we could have really opened on, if it was just our buildings, we could have opened on time. So our staff did a phenomenal job in cleaning, and it was a wonderful time. They were here Saturday and Sunday, and they were here early Monday morning. In reference to COVID, we continue to monitor the situation daily. I am very, very happy to say that our numbers are dropping rapidly, at least for this week. As of today, we only have one at the high school for the entire week, one at the middle school, and 4 at the elementary school, and that is a significant drop from before. So I'm sure shortly we'll be looking at our policies in the future, okay? As long as, like I said, I don't know if it's a trend, but at least that's where we are right now, okay? Tomorrow is parent conferences. It's not a Girardi, so it is not a school day for the students, okay? However, it is a school day for the middle school and the high school. So grades 7 through 12 do a class tomorrow. And I just want to say Mr. Nastasi is excused this evening. He is at the high school. We are playing, not only are we playing Morrisville, it's also our senior night for the boys basketball team. So he is at the high school right now. And that's everything I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. So we're going to have a presentation from the AOC. Mike, welcome. Mr. Gerard. Mr. Sherritt.
Who doesn't stand alone?
Okay.
I need all the help I can get. Actually, I'm wearing 2 hats tonight. I'm going to be speaking about the AOC, but I also want to touch base. I was here with the BAAA. I was here in early November, and I talked about the BAAA, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about that at the beginning to kind of bring you up to date about what we're doing with the Alumni and Athletic Association. As a reminder that we really have 2 basic goals. We try to honor and perpetuate the traditions of Bristol High School athletics, and we also want to hand out grants and scholarships to borough students and teachers and coaches. I mentioned in the fall that we awarded about $2,000 to teachers, coaches, and 1 individual student, and that we are continuing those efforts for innovative teaching and athletic programs and scholarships in 2022. In fact, we've already provided a grant for $500 to the varsity baseball team to play on May 7th at the Trenton Thunder Field. We expect to see some grant proposals soon from classroom teachers, and we have a deadline of February 11th for our spring grant proposals to come in, and then we'll take a look at those, and then we'll either award them or reject them based on their merits. And we also plan to provide $6,000 in scholarships to graduating seniors in June. We hope to begin general membership meetings. We had hoped this January, but with the surge in the virus. We could not do that, so we're hoping that in late winter or early spring that we could have a meeting of the general membership. But we are going ahead. We're going to attend a Trenton Thunder game in June, and we always have our annual golf outing in September, and we had our annual golf outing last September, and it was a huge success. We are always on the lookout for members. Even school board members are most welcome. We have a number of people, past school board members and administrators that are part of the association, and we would certainly hope that people that were listening to this would certainly consider joining us. And to get a hold of us, you can contact our secretary, Jim Fine, through jsfine47@gmail.com, or any of the offices in the district. The superintendent's office, the high school, or the elementary offices, they know how to get in touch with us. Before I move to, and switch hats and move to the AOC, Ron, do you have anything to say?
Well, as a treasurer, you know, you're always a numbers person, and I think it's important to recognize that over the time, now I've been with the group since it started in 2003, so I guess I'm the old man of the organization now. However, from that time, we have given over $170,000 that we have given mostly to the school and to some other, you know, organizations, some of the community organizations. For example, scholarships. Over that period of time, over $93,000 in scholarships we've given. Athletic, things that we've given to help the athletic programs has been over $30,000 that we've done over that time. School organizations, about $13,000. Given to classroom teachers, about $24,000. So you can see that, you know, that we have done what we could, and with limited membership, and that's one thing that we're always looking for, as Mike said, is additional members and people to become involved. It's one thing to pay dues, it's another thing to become an active member. So over the years, I am proud of what we've accomplished since we started many years ago, and I hope that we're able to continue for a long, long period of time. Back to the other one.
Now, our main objective tonight really is to talk about the AOC, the Academic Oversight Committee. Both Ron and I are members of that as well. There are other members scattered throughout the audience who are also members of the AOC. There are really three main movers, in my view, with the AOC. And one of them is here tonight. It's Mary Gesualdi. But Amy McIlvain and Jean Williams certainly are the ones who point us in the right direction. But it is a varied group, it is a diversified group, and it is active, and it is many, many folks that make up the AOC. The funding programs go beyond the school budget. They are in full cooperation and collaboration with the school district. The mission of the AOC is to serve and support the educational community, to enable each individual to grow into an inspired, productive, fulfilled lifetime learner. And there are three main goals. Number one, you need funds, and so we raise funds in order to support our mission. We try very hard to instill in the youth of the borough the history and pride of this town, and to foster student volunteerism. And the reason that we're here tonight is another goal. It's to maintain awareness to residents and supporters of the group's efforts to promote academic and social growth in our public and parochial schools through program participation. Now, as these things go, being a teacher in the district for a little over 40 years, there was supposed to be a visual presentation with slides. That's not possible. And so there's a handout that I will go through, and fully aware that one of the worst teaching devices is to read from a printed page to people that have that printed page in front of them, but I'll try to do my very best.
Well, you're
at that.
retired, it's okay.
That's never okay, what I'm going to do. But I do want to really emphasize the wonderful work that the AOC does. I'm a latecomer to the group. I joined after I retired in 2012, and the group was already just filled with great ideas and doing great things. In the fall semester, 2021, there were extracurricular programs and activities bolstered by summer camps, and they were financed by the 21st Century Grant, the Borough Council, and the AOC. And the AOC, again, is a cooperative group, it's a collaborative group, and it works with many folks within the borough. Artrageous, there was a Bristol Riverside Theater program this afternoon, and it promotes creativity, physical, mental, emotional health, and fun for the kids from the Bristol Borough School District and St. Mark's School, and it covers grades 1 and 2, and there was a $7,000 AOC commitment to Artrageous. And at the end of my presentation, I would like Mary to speak about that because she could attend that this afternoon. There is tutoring and additional academic support provided by the Bristol Borough School District K-6 students. We've tweaked that a little bit, and if I've kind of misstated some things, Deb, when I'm finished, please jump in. And there has been similar assistance through the guidance office and by credit recovery classes. There's a sampling of 2021 AOC funded programs that are in front of you that involve the Microsoft certification program at the high school, the Makerspace, and the totals that the AOC has put in is after each of these, and Leapfrog at St. Mark's School, and they total in the thousands, with the largest being $10,000 from the AOC for the Makerspace. STEM is so important in these times, and you can see breakdown by grades in K through second. There's basic coding going on. In grade 3, coding with Scratch. Number 4, fourth grade is Ozobots. I don't know what they are. And grades 5 and 6, Verobots. And again, the same. The 4th, 5th, and 6th graders know more about those than I ever will. And then there are a couple of pictures of the kids going through the activities. As far as news and updates, the AOC has formed a working partnership with the Borough Recreation Program. We are developing a fire cadet EMS high school curriculum. Bristol Borough School District will serve as a statewide pilot site. Dr. Schaefer is a key member of this organizational team. We're pursuing a medical arts program in conjunction with the community college. We are honoring the Bristol Borough School District faculties and support staffs for their service during the pandemic. And we're investigating a swimming program for Bristol Borough School District grade 3 at local pools, which I always thought, being born and raised in the borough, we have the river, we have the canal, we have the lake, how important it is for kids to know how to swim. We could not do this all by ourselves, and so the last page is that we've held a successful no-go raffle list last year. The winners were Amy McIlvain, and we're looking into that. Pat Mulhern and Ginny O'Donnell. And we thank everyone for their support in the raffle. And we are doing some community fundraising and support. We know that that is critical. And to continue, we hope, receiving competitive 21st century grants. In addition to the raffle, we have some tentative dates for our 2022 events. Jazz on the River for Friday, June 24th. And I've gone to every one of those events, and they're a lot of fun, and we do good things there. And I want to mention the King George, who has been a tremendous sponsor for us in both Jazz on the River and the next item, the Bristol Fall Classic, which will be Saturday, November 19th. In addition to really like the town just getting together, we honor a distinguished individual who has provided community support. We honor teachers, and we honor a student of the year. And that I've also gone to almost every year, and that also is fun. And both of those events are fun just because you get to see so many people from the borough, and it's always fun to reconnect. At this point, I'll let Mary take over, talk about Outrageous, and then if there's anyone else.
Does anyone have any questions? One of you
Well,
all?
yeah, that's why we're bringing Mary to the podium. So, but, yeah, here we go.
I was fortunate enough today to be invited to attend the culmination of the second quarter for our first and second graders with the Outrageous program. And I just want to congratulate Mrs. Rosato and the staff from the Riverside Theater. It was phenomenal. And we're just happy to be able to support that program.
Are there any questions? No? I would like to end with just saying that for both groups, on behalf of both groups, the support we get from the school district, from the school board, and from the administration, from the staff, it is really something that we know that you are in our corner. And we're so happy to any time to present, to come before you, because you are such a supportive group. And I thank you for your time tonight.
If I may, Mr. President, on behalf of the district, first of all, I also attended the Outrageous program today. That was outstanding. That was absolutely outstanding. Mr. Rosato, you can talk a little more, but it was wonderful what our students did. I was so impressed with how well prepared and all they were for this presentation today. And on behalf of the district and on behalf of myself, I just want to thank the members of the AOC and the BAA for all that. We're very fortunate. As a small district, what we have, like I said, it is priceless. So thank you for everything and all of your support. And I'm going to speak specifically now for the fire class. We have a lot of support with this, and there'll be a lot more presentations later, but if things go well, Bristol Borough will be a model, our high school, for the entire state to follow, because there's such a shortage of volunteer firefighters. And the goal is to get volunteer firefighters, and what we would like to have is when the students leave Bristol High School, they can attend a class junior, senior year. Well, they'll actually be certified firefighters with Firefighter 1. So once they leave here, they can walk into a job very easily, which is nice. But they can also help here as volunteer firefighters as well. So I just want to thank you for everything. And I just want to say, to thank the board as well, I know we have $10,000 that we put out for the makerspace, and when I saw what wonderful things we're doing with that, the district's is also going to match it with another $10,000. So we're really moving along with that right now at both levels, the elementary and high school. So but thank you for everything.
Yes, I'd just like to make a comment. Thank you so much for all you do. Mr. Gerard, Mr. Sherritt, Mr. Fine, Mrs. Fine, Mrs. Jezawaldi. all former teachers in the school district. Mr. Fine not, but always a good community member. We appreciate everything you do, so it's really, I can remember when you were teachers, you really never left. And we appreciate that you come back and that you contribute your time and your efforts to the community. And it is appreciated, by the board. So thank you for all you do. I know you have a big group, but whoever's here tonight, I'd like to thank them. So keep the good work up. Dr. Schaefer's a volunteer fireman, huh? Okay, well, public participation. Anyone from the public would like to comment on anything? Yes?
We discussed the mask.
Can you please state your name?
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Lester Abdallah. Is it okay if I speak? I live in Bucks County, but not in the borough itself.
Yes, can you?
Okay. Let me put my mask on. Hi, thank you for letting me speak. My name's Elizabeth Lester Abdallah. I'm here on behalf of the Bucks Cancel Lunch Debt Coalition, and I just want to talk about student lunch debt. So across Pennsylvania, over 87,000 kids are food insecure, which means that they cannot afford school lunch, but their family does not qualify for free or reduced lunch. As many people who work in schools probably know, the income threshold is pretty low for that. It's about $34,000 for a family of 4 to get a free lunch, and a family of 4 would have to make no more than about $49,000 to qualify for reduced lunch. So those are very low income thresholds, and many families that may make just above that amount are still trying to make ends meet, and it can be hard to be able to afford lunch every day for the kids or meet all of the kids' needs. We just want families to know that that's not their fault. And then as relates to Bristol Borough, according to information helpfully provided by the school district, Bristol Borough has approximately $15,875 in active student lunch debt, with about 75 students owing more than $50. So that is a lot of kids and a lot of debt. Thankfully, lunches are currently free through the special program during the COVID-19 pandemic through the Department of Agriculture. However, we recognize this program is only temporary and does nothing to address the debt that already exists. So this is debt that is still a burden on families. And it comes with a lot of stigma and shame because we don't do a good job in our society of talking about debt, sharing when we have it, and sharing that load together, and addressing that so that no one, particularly school-age children or teenagers and high school people who can't even work for their own wage, are shouldering the burden of that lunch debt. We've heard from kids in some of the school districts in Bucks County that they experience shaming, they are pulled out of lunch line and asked to speak to someone and tell them why they can't afford it, or they're threatened with not graduating, different means to try to understand and also to try to have the families pay. But that is a burden that a lot of kids carry. So because the current program of free lunch is not permanent and does nothing to ensure that kids will not be hungry in the future or not shamed for not being able to afford lunch, and we know of extensive data about the importance of food in school on behavior, on academic performance, on attention span, nutrition is so important. So there's a budding coalition of people in Bucks County seeking to deal with this issue. We would love to speak to the school board more about this issue. And we'd also like, if anyone's watching live stream, as many voices part of that as possible, whether or not you've experienced lunch debt. So administrators, teachers, staff, parents, students. We're not looking for money. Instead, we'd love your insight and support. And if anyone is interested in learning more, you can email nolunchdebt@gmail.com. So thanks so much for letting me speak today. I hope that we can all work together to make sure kids aren't going hungry. So thank you.
Just for a point of interest, Mrs. Curran had brought that up to us about our school lunch debt, and Mr. McHugh made a suggestion, and you could tell her what it was.
To forgive it?
Yes.
Yes. To forgive the lunch debt.
That was this,
Yeah.
or that has happened, or that was yours?
That's what our plans are to do.
Okay.
Because obviously everybody's free now because of the COVID restrictions, but that's our plan, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something I could reach out to you to learn more about, or?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And thank you, Mr. McHugh. You're the one that provided the data, so thanks again for responding
No
to that.
problem. No problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Okay, public participation is closed. Routine monthly business.
Mr. President, I make a motion under item 5 for routine monthly business to approve minutes of January 6, 2022. Item B, approve the list of bills for January 2022. And item C, approve the treasury report for December 2021, all of which are attached.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carried. Item A, under new business.
In the new business, I make a motion that we approve the proposed contract between the Bristol Borough School District LLP as our district auditor, between BBD LLP as district auditor and the Bristol Borough School District to conduct the audit for the 2021-2022 fiscal year at a cost of $22,500.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Collins, any questions?
Just to give a quick background, our auditor, Michael Weber, has retired after serving the district as our auditor for about 25 years. So I conducted a search talking with other business managers in the district, and BBD LLP came highly recommended. They serve Pennsbury, Mooresville. I actually deal with them through Century 21 because their audits. So this was the one that we selected.
Good job, Mr. McHugh, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries. Item B.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the changes to the Articles of Agreement between the Bucks County Technical High School and the Bristol Borough School District. The agreement is attached, and that requires a roll call vote.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Mr. McHugh, would you just?
Sure. The only difference from last month to this month is 2 school districts were not going to approve what we passed last month. So the decision was the tech school is trying to carry $250,000 in debt every year for the 3-year agreement for them to perform capital projects. And the agreement was that 2 of the 3 years they will be able to carry $250,000, and our portion of that is about $9,000.
Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Any questions? Madam Secretary, roll call vote.
Mr. Cullen?
Yes.
Ms. Karen?
Yes.
Mr. D'Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Paglio?
Yes.
Mr. Poliafico?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Chicoletti?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. 7-0. Item C.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the 2022-2023 Bucks County Intermediate Unit Programs and Services and Instructional Materials and Research budget in the amount of $13,362, an increase of $27, and that is also attached.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions?
So just to give a little thing, this provides direct curriculum, instruction, assessment, staff development, comprehensive planning, school improvement, instructional materials research, and instructional technology services to the Bucks County School Districts.
Very good. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item D.
Item D, and Mr. President, I approve the expulsion of a Bristol High School student.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item E.
Mr. President, make a motion to authorize the advertisement of window replacement services at the Bristol Borough Junior Senior High School and put it out for bid.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Just so the public's aware, we completed 2 years ago the front of the school and the side of the school where the weight room is. We are now completing the back of the school and the 3rd floor classrooms.
Do we have an idea of how many we're talking about?
We do not. I know it's the back of the school.
And that would be the 2nd floor plus the 3rd floor on the back?
Yes.
And the front of the 3rd floor? There is nothing on the 3rd floor. Back.
The 3rd floor, both sides.
Yeah.
Is there windows on the 3rd floor in the front?
I don't think on the front.
Just
No.
side,
Just on the
right? Just
back.
the
Just
back.
the
Okay,
sides,
so-
yeah. The only thing that is going to remain would be the front lobby where you come in until we decide what we're going to do with that
Right.
for now, but the third floor and the back of the school.
Down the road, I think we should look at something to do with those auditorium, the lobby of the auditorium, those windows. They're really expensive, and they get nicked a lot, so down the road, we could look at them. But yeah, I'm assuming it might be just about the same amount as in the front of the second floor and the first floor on Wilson Avenue side as the back. The back may be almost the same numbers.
Yeah, we're probably talking, if it's the same numbers, what it cost us for the
Yeah,
front.
the first bid was awarded for $289,000.
And so then add on the third floor.
And
So,
that was, do you recall what we paid for the front, Chris, on the, and around the side?
That's what it was, 289, 289.
so
Yeah.
at least that plus the third floor.
Yeah, so almost the same amount of windows and then the third floor. Good.
Probably
I'm
close to
good.
500, right?
Yeah, so that is part of our, about 10 years ago, we had an assessment of the high school to see what would be needed to keep that going another 20 or 30 years. And now we're in the phase where you're going to start to see windows, you're going to see the outer structure of the school. You know, we've replaced electric, we're upgrading the air conditioning system. That's going to be next year. We're going to put a new heating system in so that the school could be maintained another, 25 to 30 years. So we do have a plan. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Okay, item H.
Mr. President, I motion that we authorize to advertise for split unit air conditioners and the installation services at the Bristol High School.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? So briefly is what we're doing. Half of the school now has in each classroom what they call a split unit, and that enables us to have air conditioning and also additional heat if we need it. So we're looking to put that into every room, and we're going to put the HEPA filters on those units to help with air quality. No questions? Anybody
We waited
else?
till you left, Mike.
Jeff, what was that, Mr. Paliafco?
I was just teasing. We waited till Mike left to put some air conditioning in there. Some of the other teachers.
Yeah, that's true, right? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item G.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve permission for an evaluation of the district's music program at a cost not to exceed $5,000.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cullen? Any questions? Dr. Schaefer, you have any comments?
I do have something to say. This is actually going to serve a dual purpose. Currently, the state has just come up, we have another 21st century grant that we're applying for. We're applying for $500,000 to what's known as Cohort 11, okay? And a large part of our 21st century, or a part of it, is with the music program. So what we want to look to do is evaluate our entire program, both internally within the schools and also with the 21st century program, and to see what we best, moving forward, to improve our programming, both internally and how 21st century can best serve what our needs are here. So that's the purpose of the evaluation.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Just a quick comment. As you saw last month, we approved that we're going to renovate the art room and upgrade with some computer equipment and install the kiln. So we're taking care of art and music the upcoming year. Item 7 under personnel. A.
Mr. President, a motion that we approve the resignation of Harley Blosser, bus driver, effective January 21, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Just as an update, if anybody has a CDL or an S endorsement and can drive a bus, we would love to see you, so stop by the administration building and talk to me.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item B.
Mr. President, I motion to approve the resignation of Shaquille Vaughn, District Assistant, effective January 25th, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions?
Again, as me and Tom would say, we are in desperate need of district assistance, so anybody that can feel the need, please visit the administration office and fill out an application.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Item C.
Mr. President, I motion that we approve the appointment of the following daily substitutes at a price of $105 a day, no benefits as per the master agreement, effective for the 2021-2022 school year, and that would be Dakota Luna, Stephanie Mack, and Jack Mayhew.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Cullen, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions?
Unless you want to just repeat that again?
I was going to let Tom do that one.
To the public, Tom,
Again,
do you want to?
if you know anybody, substitute teachers, we need substitute teachers,
Could we-
as every district.
Could I just, I know we talked about this many, many times as far as the salary. What, we have a stipulation that we bump that up after?
What we do, after 20 days,
Want me to do it, or? Okay. So for us, it's 105 after the first 20 days.
Right.
The next, and for the rest of the year, it's 115. If you're a long-term sub, which means you're hired here for 180 days, it's 125. And we
Maybe-
just changed that, bumped that up maybe 2
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah.
A year ago?
Maybe if we mention that every once in a while at these meetings, we'll get some, hopefully some more interest, but I don't have any answers, but hopefully that helps if they know that part. That's good. Thank you. I'm good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Paliafco. IU representative? Absent tonight. Information and discussion. The next public board meeting will be Thursday, February the 17th, 2022. I'll go around the horn here to see if anyone has any comments. Mr. Smith?
I'd like to thank the AOC for all they do for the kids of the borough. It's a terrific job, and my kids benefited from it. So I truly, truly thank you for what you do. And I'd like to give a shout out to Big Al, and hope he gets better soon.
Ms. Curran?
I'd like to give a shout out to the BBBA, the AOC, and Outrageous. I think we're so fortunate to live in a community where everyone cares so much to give their time, their energy, their money to improve the lives of the students, families, and it really just enriches our community so much more. So I really cannot thank you enough for dedicating your time and effort. And also that Al recovers quickly. Thank you.
Mr. Cullen?
No, fine, thank you.
Mr. Paliafco?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Sherritt. Thank you, everybody else. Ms. Jeswaldy, Ms. Fine. You guys do a great job. Appreciate it. Good?
Good. Ms. Pagnio?
I'd like to thank.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You've had a rough couple of months, too. I'm glad that you're back.
I'm very glad to be back. It's been a long journey since the Saturday before Labor Day when I broke my elbow. I've been through 2 surgeries, and I'm now on the journey of moving my arm, and being able to move my elbow the way I used to use it, and through therapy. So, and I'd like to thank Mr. Gerard, Mr. Sherritt, Mr. Fine, Mrs. Fine, and Mrs. Giswaldi for coming tonight and giving a fine presentation. And thank you for all that you do for our students.
Dr. Schaefer?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing. Mr. Chicolette said I'm a volunteer firefighter. I just want to say that I no longer climb that 100-foot ladder. I'm primarily right now in the administrative role.
Good evening. It's always nice to be here, but I do want to check one box. The board did meet in executive session at 6:30 tonight. The subjects were personnel, confidential matters, and informational presentation on tonight's agenda by Dr. Schaefer.
Thank you.
Concluded right before the meeting began.
Mr. D'Angelo?
again, I thank my friends at the BAA. And Ron, you mentioned that we've already given 170,000 total. So this year might be a sentinel year for us. We could cross that 200,000 of money raised. So again, I appreciate it. And Mary Jane, you know, if you're having problems with your elbow, you know, Mr. Gerard has been known to tip his elbow if you need some type of therapy. Just to make arrangements with him. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. D'Angelo. Once again, thank you for all you do, AOC. It's appreciated by the school district and I'm sure by the students. Wish Big Al a recovery. And Mrs. Rosado.
Thank you. So as Dr. Schaefer mentioned, we do have parent conferences tomorrow, so there's no school, and I did organize the lost and found, so several of the children's clothing items have been lost. So please come and find them, as you are certainly missing them at home. So check that out tomorrow. Once again, we were able to, every 2 weeks, we are fortunate enough to grant funded by the Bucks County Opportunity Council, and we receive thousands of pounds of food that goes directly to our families. Usually it's fresh produce already prepackaged. Today it was included 50 or several cases of eggs and bell peppers, and then snack packs. So this has occurred since the beginning of the school year every other Thursday. So we're fortunate to have additional food supplies for our families. And that will continue through the school year. And then, of course, as you saw from the AOC presentation and their support of our children, our STEM program here at Slater Girardi has really taken off. We are fortunate that Mr. Crossan stepped into the role after retirement, and it's in his wheelhouse, and it shows the level of engagement that the kids are experiencing in that particular class is amazing. And the still pictures in that presentation don't give it justice, so I invite anyone to come during any of his classes to just see all of the amazing things that our kids are being engaged in. So that's refreshing. And then finally, we did perform today, our first and second graders. Our first graders performed a couple of scenes from Annie, and they were engaged in acting and musical theater, and our second graders performed scenes from Shrek. And so if you can imagine leading up to this, to see the end product of the showcase when, 25 students that they're herding like cats to remember lines, remember their moves, and do it at the same time in unison. So it was quite amazing today. And thank you to the AOC, because I can say, and Ms. Jeswaldi, you were here, there's sure to be definitely a singer and actor that come out of our children just from having this experience. And that was the whole point of it, to expose our children to opportunities that they would not necessarily have. And thank you to the theater, who's been gracious enough to give us Q, who is the director and amazing to work with. I had approached her after the summertime. Look, we need this for our kids. We want this for our kids. We want to grow this program. And so the AOC has obviously made that happen along with the district, because we funded it with federal funds as well. So we will have a third quarter showcase and then a fourth quarter showcase, and the kids truly love it. It was a packed house, and if you're not on our Facebook page or Bristol Borough School District Communications page, join, and then you can see some of the videos from it. So it really gives you chills just to see, and we definitely have some future actors in there, singers, dancers, you name it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you for, I drove by a couple of times for distributing the food. I've known that, I've seen you out there doing it, so thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
Dave, I do want to make that, because, we had a young lady here tonight speaking about food, and we have fed so many kids, and we make sure, and I appreciate Kelly personally, over here when you walk out, look at those pile of boxes and stuff, making sure that it gets in the hands, because if people are delivering you produce and eggs and stuff, well, the worst thing that you could do is not get it. But I really appreciate what you're doing, because in the long run, it builds the bridge between the school and the families. And every one of those families has a different story. And so, I mean, I came here tonight at 6 o'clock, and Kelly's sitting here waiting. People are coming in, giving stuff out, and I just think that that's how we're gonna solve it, is by engaging the parents and really getting to know each and every one. So Kelly, you wanna say something?
Oh, you're welcome. And one more thing, most of you probably know, we've been sustaining our own food pantry here at Snyder Girardi as well as at the Bristol High School, which we started. You know, that's a long story, and with generous donations from yourself, other community members, on Wednesday was 222, so it was like tutus and tie-dye, and children who could brought in different items. And our pantry is open twice a week after school, so it's open to any students who want to stop by. They bag up their stuff, and they're on their way, so it's convenient, it's discreet. So we couldn't be happier that we're able to do that, and it's been donations from probably, Ms. Fine, you've donated monetarily, and we've been sustaining this now for, I think, 3 years probably. So we're doing what we need to do for our kids.
Oh, thank you.
I have one question. What is Ozo bots?
The Ozobots are, I believe, those little things you see in one of the pictures. Like they're coded, and so they go around in different patterns. The Spheros are the bigger ones that get controlled by the iPads. I'll turn to the next page. Those. They're little Ozobots.
Is that how you say it? Ozobots?
Yeah,
Okay.
and Mr. Crossan, he's applying for all the grants that you mentioned, Mr. Gerard, for the BAAA and the BBEF to continue to grow our program. And he's really intentional about getting grade-specific things, for all children to include our children with special needs, and they're also successful with it. Like you could, I really invite anyone to come in at any point of the day to see kindergartners doing coding, 6th graders building. The level of engagement is amazing. We don't even have it all up and running yet. We have the digital fabrication, which we're going to be setting up with Cricut machines. So it's limitless what we can do and what the kids can do, and amazing for their futures. So, and they love the class. Love it.
I was here the other day observing one of the classes, and I'll tell you what, the success of a class is when the students don't want to leave.
Oh, absolutely.
And that was...
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I motion.
D'Angelo, I have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Cullen. Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.